Hi, you're listening to Las Primas Dicen. This is our unfiltered truths about motherhood, faith, and our life experiences. I'm Lolo, a mom of two, a wife, a grad student, and honestly, just a girl trying to romanticize her life between tantrums and to do lists.
And hi, I'm Pam, a wife, boy mom of two, creative at heart, and on a journey of growing closer to God while navigating life, motherhood, and everything in between. Welcome back to season two, episode one of Las Primas Dicen. Here we are. Lolo, how do you feel?
Honestly, didn't think we'd be back here.
It's been so long.
It's been 5 years.
It's been 5 years, and honestly, I did not think we would be back here either. I was looking at the Instagram, and our last post was like, "We're going on break for the fall. We'll be back." And it reminds me of like the SpongeBob, like the little thing, like 5 years later.
Literally.
But here we are. We're back. Hi, primas. Welcome. If you are listening to us while you're like trapeando or while you're doing the dishes, hello, ma'am. Come on this journey with us as you do your oficios, or it maybe you're like driving to your kid's doctor appointment or like dropping off the little one at daycare or at school. We're glad that you're listening.
Yeah, welcome. And if you have no kids, welcome as well.
Welcome as well. Yes. Okay. Welcome to those mommies. Welcome to the mommies and the mommies, right?
Exactly.
Mommy
Uh
and
huh.
Mami.
AMI.
Yes. Hey, mommy. Hey, prima. All right. So, let's go ahead and start with the icebreaker or fun starters. And this is going to be the way that we kind of go through this first episode. Alondra and I have different sections, and we're each going to ask a question and both of us will answer. So we're gonna start with the fun opening starter questions, the icebreakers, and I will start first. So I'll ask you the question, Lolo, you'll answer it, and then I will answer that same question. Let me see. I have my list of questions here. Okay, I have a good question. If season one us, so that's 5 years ago, met season two us, what would they say?
Okay, I think like season one, me would be like WTF. For the simple fact that I feel like it's life is it's similar in a lot of ways, but it's so different. Like I'm not teaching, I'm actually not working at all. I decided to get a master's degree, which at that point in my life I had already given up on that. I was like, yeah, no more schooling for me. Um my husband, thankfully, with the military and all that stuff, like his disability went up. So we literally, even our house, we don't have to pay property taxes, all those things, like a lot of things that I feel like I was worrying about in season one. Season one me would be looking at me like, what? But I will say that everything has like worked itself out. And I think a big part of that is my growth in my faith, which at that point I was a little bit like, I was leaning there, but I wasn't there yet. And now I'm like back on track with my faith. So that's like the biggest thing. I feel like my faith has grown so much and that has changed every other area of my life. And I know that you could agree with that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, good. I think that the whole idea of like you now going back to school, I feel like that was a big came out of left field there.
It was random.
It was
It
random.
was.
But here you are, girl, getting that degree.
Amen.
So season one, if season one me met season two me, so 5 years later, I feel like You know the meme that's like, bitch, you doing a good job. Bitch, you doing
Yeah.
a good job. Bitch, you doing a good job.
Yes.
I feel like that is what season one me would say to season two me, because season one, first of all, Ian was not born. So
Yeah.
I was only a mom to one boy. It was just Elias. And now I have two of them. And two is a lot of fun. Two is a lot of fun. But when you have two, you're like, I could do anything with one. You know, you're like,
Yeah, yeah.
like when you only have one, you're like, damn, this is a struggle. I remember like some of our episodes was like mom guilt and like
Mhm.
anxiety and like even like planning the first birthday. Like Ian's first birthday was like, okay, we're gonna do this chill thing in the house. Come over, you know. Um, so I feel like I am just in a better place, and I've continued to kind of grow and learn and take steps forward in my life that I'm proud of. And I left Miami, so we'll talk about that in another episode. But I feel like season one me would be like, damn girl, it's been 5 years. You've done a lot. A lot has happened. But bitch, you doing a good job. Bitch, you doing a good job.
Hey, I like that. I like that.
Okay,
Honestly,
what
I agree with that sentiment that yes, you're doing a good job, you know? Because life is hard and I be thinking all the time about the fact that you're like out there by yourself, realistic. Like now you've created your own community, but like you're by yourself. So like in the days where you feel like I just wanna be free and like do nothing for a little bit and like have somebody watch my kids or something, like you don't really have that. So it's like I'll be like, kudos to Pam because
Yeah, that is
yeah.
true. That's true. I think that that's one of the hardest parts about leaving Miami. And 5 years ago, it was easier to get together with my loved ones, with my community. I had you there, my brother, my parents were still like there 5 minutes away from me, my in-laws, my best friends. So it my family was so accessible to me. And the need to build a community outside of my family was not a necessity. And since I've left Miami, that is no longer the case. Like it is a necessity for me to everywhere I go basically like, build community if I can, if I see that it's with the right people. And I've been able to do that like through church, through the sport that we're now all training. It's taken some time, but every day I'm actively working on building and sustaining a community that me and my family can grow into and that we can have outside of my immediate family, because we are not in close proximity to each other.
Mhm. Yeah, that's important. I feel like that's something that I want for for the future because like my family is great and they're always like even if I do live away from my family, I feel like we have such good connections that like we stay like you still feel close to them even if they're far, like even us that we're not close. But I do think that ultimately I need to branch out a little bit because my family is like my security blanket. So I guess we'll have to talk about that another another episode.
Yeah, we'll save that one
But
for another
yeah.
episode. All right, now your question.
Let me see. Let me see. What's our current mom era right now?
My current mom era is like soccer mom, but better. um, those of you that are actively like following me on social media know that I've recently started training jujitsu, and not only have I started training jujitsu, but my husband Fernando is training jujitsu, and our oldest Elias is training jujitsu. So it's like a whole family affair. Ian is not training yet, but he is very much involved in the jujitsu community. Like we take him to the academy with us. When we're like hanging out with people from our BJJ gym, like he's there, they all know him. So he's just, gonna take a little bit more time to get on the mats. But I am like the jujitsu mom that has all the snacks. Like all the kids like come to me and they're like, "Do you have a snack? Do you have a snack?" And I'm like taking out like the goldfish and the granola bars and the Lunchables. I'm just like whipping them out, you know? Like I come with the entertainment. I have like the kids' iPads, little blocks, like all the toys that if there's another mom and like she's waiting in the lobby with her younger kid and they see Ian, like they'll play with Ian because I brought like enough toys for Ian and for an extra person. So you know how like soccer moms like always prepared, and soccer moms like always have the snacks for all the kids and they have all the chairs and they have all the things. That's me, but like jujitsu. So I'm in my jujitsu mom era. And not only am I there as the supportive mom for my kids and my husband off the mat, but I am also like myself training. And so when I'm on the mats, that's been a really awesome journey as well because jujitsu has brought me back to like self discovery and like identity and like feeling like myself. And jujitsu is so crazy because it heightens the mom era that I'm in, but also it has heightened the individual person that I am outside of my motherhood and my wifehood.
I was gonna say similar to that, that I'm in my kind of who am I outside of being a mom era. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I'm trying to fill my cup because I feel like for all these years I've been kind of like just mom mode. So now I was like, okay, what do I like? What do I want to do? Like I randomly just started scrapbooking and like doing things like that. But on top of that, I'm also in like my bonding era with my girls because now that Olivia's like 7, we could watch certain things together. Like we watch certain shows together. Some of her little kid shows, but also some of my shows because like I like K dramas. I like Korean dramas a lot, especially because there's nothing like you're not worried about what your kid is gonna see on there. Like these people be
It's
extreme about,
wholesome.
yeah, they be like extreme about like a hug, like the romance is like a hug, a hand touch, they be freaking out. And sometimes they do have kisses, but it's like a peck. So Olivia, now that she's 7, like I let her watch like K dramas with me. We're actually almost done with a K drama that we're watching right now called True Beauty. So yeah, we're trying to find like little things to bond. And it's like I like being a girl mom and like all the girly things. I love that my kids
So
are
cute.
interested in like getting their hair done and fashion and all of that. That's I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
happy.
That's a big difference than like season one, right? Like in season one, our mom era was like survival, like
Hmm.
stress, like guilt, like
Struggling.
over struggling, like overwhelmed, like how the hell do I do this? That's where we were at 5 years ago, it feels like. And
Hmm.
now, 5 years later, we've definitely found our groove and we're in a
Hmm.
place of like enjoying our kids in the age and the stage that they're at, you know?
And I will say, at least when it comes to me, thinking back to like us in 2021, I feel like that partly was because also I had just became a mom of 2, and it was something that was not only new to me but it was new to my husband. So I feel like the era of mom that I'm in right now is also because my husband has learned so much about being a dad. And
Mm,
like the more that he is like a dad and the more that like he helps me, like it's like a dual, they like we're both parenting here. I feel less like I'm carrying everything. And there's still days where, like, obviously, yes, that happens. We're moms. So there's
yeah.
days where I'm still like, damn, I did everything today. But my husband helps me so much that now I feel like I have even more freedom to, like, I don't know, just be a better mom, you know?
Yeah. We got to do an episode of how were our husbands in 2021 versus now, 5 years
Because
later.
my husband back then, I had to tell him to do everything, everything. Like, you see, there's a million dishes. I have to ask you to wash it. No, now Lewis will see the dishes. He will clean the dishes. I don't have to tell him anything. Like, he already knows what to do to help me so that I am less stressed, you
Yeah, there
know?
was definitely growth there for our guys as well.
Mm-hmm. We
Mm.
got to do a little episode with them.
I know we do. All right. So now we're going to get to our quote unquote main conversation. And it's like, where have we been? Right. Which we kind of talked about that a little bit. But let me see for my next question. Um, oh, I like this one. Okay. So what were we struggling with back then that people didn't see?
I don't know. Cause like to be honest with you, I feel like I'm such an open book. I feel like everybody saw my struggles.
Well, I was recently kind of taking a look at our episodes in season one, and one of the last ones we did was you opening up about your struggles with anxiety. And I hadn't realized that it was to the point where it was at. And I think that that was something that you were struggling with. So, 5 years later, is there anything that you have discovered about your anxiety or that you've confirmed about it, or where are you in terms of your anxiety now 5 years later?
I would say I'm still pretty anxious, but I will say, like I said, my faith has grown a lot, and that has helped a lot. Like just believing like somebody's on my side and taking care of me, and like I'm gonna be okay. Like literally, when I have anxiety, now I affirm myself by speaking about God. Like God is with me, God calms me, God gives me peace that surpasses all understanding, like things like that, right? So that's like one thing. But then also like the state that I was in was very like we said, survival mode. So in my job, I was not satisfied and I was feeling super like overstimulated and all the things. So like my nervous system was in overdrive. I was a mom of two, juggling being a teacher as well as, being home. And then also juggling being like everybody's everything, because in my family, I'm the go-to person. My sister goes to me, my brother goes to me, my parents go to me. I'm the glue, to be honest. I'm the glue of the family. And I still feel that to a certain extent. I actually just have like a little, I made like I wrote something about that, which I'm thinking about posting or whatever. But I would say I still have the anxiety, but I've gotten it under control a little bit. But I do want to talk to like a therapist or a professional. I've gotten to the point where like I do want to seek actual assistance, because for a long time it wasn't that I didn't want to, but it was like I didn't even know where to start. And now I feel like regardless of knowing the right words to say, like just try, like just do it, and see what comes about it. But I also think that I've opened up in that way because I've seen a lot of like my friends, my family, that they also have decided to like seek out a therapist. And that doesn't mean like you have to get on medication or anything like that. Like it's just literally talking to somebody to see if you feel better. But I do feel better. And I think it's because my nervous system, now that life feels a little calmer, a little bit more stable, I feel a little calmer and a little more stable.
Good, I'm glad. Well, since you brought up therapy, I don't think that I mentioned to you that I actually started therapy like about a month ago. And I feel like it's been like amazing. It has helped me out, and it's something that I can go to when I am feeling any kind of way. And I remember when I had my first session with my therapist, I was concerned that I would have nothing to talk about. I was like, I'm gonna do therapy. Like I was all excited. I grabbed my laptop and I'm like, I'm gonna go do therapy. And then I sat there and I'm like, what am I gonna talk about for an hour? Like I have nothing to say. Like I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm good. And when I joined the session, she's like, hey, so like, tell me about yourself and like what do you want to talk about? And I was like, yeah, like I feel like I'm a very positive person. I'm very optimistic. I love my life, blah, blah, blah. And the more questions she asked, the more I discovered, like, as the conversation went on, that there was a lot about me and my life and my relationships with people that I needed to unpack. And therapy is not something that is just for people that have anxiety or depression, or that are going through something like a mental crisis. Yes, absolutely, it is for those people, but also for the people that are like me, that are consider themselves to be very positive, very optimistic, very go lucky, like very go is that like the phrase, very go
Hmm.
lucky?
Yeah.
Like, it's for us too. Therapy is for everybody. And now I find myself like ready to, like, there's always something for me to talk about when I'm getting ready for my sessions with my therapist. And throughout the week, things that bother me, I'll like jot them down. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to talk, to my therapist. And after a month of therapy, I actually was like, Fernando, you gotta talk to the therapist. Like, she's great. Talk to her. And so I was able to convince him to have that first conversation with her, and it went well. And so now he's on his journey with therapy. We had the same therapist, but we see her individually. And then we are getting to a place where we're gonna have like joint sessions, not because we're like, we need couples therapy because our marriage. No, but because sometimes, like every and all marriages, you see things differently, which is completely normal. And it's always nice to have a person who is unbiased, who knows who we are as individuals, but that can give us some tools and tips on how to continue to navigate certain disagreements, or certain things, that like the way we think about things. So I love therapy. And if there are any primas on here that are thinking about starting therapy and don't know where to start, we can post some resources, we can post some numbers. You guys can like hit up our DMs, because I have a therapist who is amazing. So I will pass along that information.
You're gonna have to pass it on to me.
I will. I definitely will.
But that's good that you guys are doing the couple one. I want to do that as well with Lewis, because it's true. Like once you've been with somebody for so long as well, it's like it's what I tell everybody. Like we don't stay the same. We're constantly changing and shifting and changing who we are and our perspectives. So like, regardless, just to be able to handle the evolution of each other separately and together. Sometimes you need somebody to assist with that evolution. So.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So let me answer that question briefly, and then you can ask yours. So something that I was struggling with that people didn't see was I was in a place that I felt like I needed to be out of, which is crazy. Like, I love Miami, and I loved the fact that that's where I grew up and that's where my people are. But at the same time, there was a lot of like almost chaos living in Miami a little bit, Sometimes, and you mentioned this at the top of the episode, like that comfort is can actually be a disservice to growth. And so I feel, in retrospect, as I think back to myself at that point in my life, I think that I was getting to a point where the comfort was not outweighing the chaos a little bit, like I just needed a change. Like, there was things that, like, in my relationship, financially, socially, that I was like, this is just not working anymore. Like, yes, I love my brother, and yes, I love my cousins, and yes, I love that my parents are here, but as a family, our finances in Miami is not working out. The fact that we do have so many people who we love that are so close to us that we can reach out to actually was a disservice to us spiritually, because we would go to our friends and our family before we would go to the Lord. And in Miami, we didn't have that church family like we have now. And in Miami, we were just like it wasn't there. It got to a point where like we were like, no, like the things that make us comfortable is not what we need. We need something different. We need something different personally, spiritually, financially. We wanted to buy another house and we literally just could not afford it. It's not a secret. Like when I say that that was a struggle that nobody saw, it also wasn't a secret that like we wanted to get another house. We wanted to like move somewhere where we would have better, like a better quality of life. And it just wasn't there. So I think that taking that step to leave our comfort zone opened up opportunity and opened up blessings and opened up more than what we could have ever thought that we would have now. Yeah. So that's what people didn't see.
And honestly, I'm kind of at that stage a little bit right now. Yep.
Come on over to the dark side. All right.
But wait, these
No,
where have we been questions? Honestly, we already like answered these essentially.
yeah. Okay. So
you're gonna have to cut this part out.
do you want to move on to like motherhood update or like personal growth?
The thing is,
the motherhood section is cool. There's a couple questions there.
We kind of like touched on motherhood too, low key. But
yes, okay.
How's motherhood different now with 2 kids? What humbles us the most about pain? Seeing what foundations brightest. I don't know, to be honest.
What about personal growth? Anything there?
The personal growth. How have we changed as women? What boundaries do we have now that we didn't before? We could do. Yeah, we could do. I guess. Is it like I'm trying to think of like what would I even say for those things?
Okay, well you asked the question.
Okay.
All right.
Hold on. Let me see. I guess I would say maybe for you, I would ask the how have we changed as women? Okay. Okay, ready? All right, so let's move on a little bit to the personal growth questions. So I would ask you, Pam, how have we changed as women, or how have you changed as a woman?
Yeah. I think that naturally, the older you get, the more experience you get, the wiser you are. I think that there has been a lot of changes for me as a mom where I'm just more confident now in my motherhood and I'm not as scared of the things that I was scared of before when I only had like one kid or when I was like a brand new mom. So just feeling confident, empowered in my own motherhood is something that uh I think comes natural, right? Like when you have a newborn versus when you have a 5-year-old and you're like, damn, I kept my 5-year-old alive for 5 years. Okay. I could do 5 more. I could do 20 more. I could keep him alive, you know? So definitely my confidence in my motherhood. But I think that there lately has been a shift in me where I am on this other side of motherhood. Like when once your kid hits like the 5s, I think something happens. I think that moms can stop operating in this space of super mom. I think that prior to 5, it feels like all you do is motherhood. It feels like you are not you. You are the mother and the wife. But after 5, once the kids start to get a little bit older, they go to school, you have more time for yourself. There is a light at the end of the tunnel that you're like, Pam, is that you? Like can I see myself again? Like I'm like crawling out of like this cave that I've been in for 5 years. That's not to say that like I don't love motherhood, but geez, like there is just motherhood is amazing and beautiful, but it is like all encompassing, you know? And for the first 5 years, I feel like it just felt like that's all I did. That's all I
Yeah,
knew.
it
That's all I
consumes
focused
you.
on. It is all consuming. And now I just feel like I feel myself coming back to myself, if that makes sense. Like I feel myself doing more things for me. Like
Hmm.
I just want to do this for me. And my kids are not there and my husband's not there and I'm just doing this for me cuz I enjoy it. Cuz I had the time to do it now. I find myself like I said, now I'm training in a sport just because I want to. I am like reading more, I'm writing more. I find myself like telling my husband, I'm like, I'm gonna go on a solo date. Like, I'm just gonna go on a solo date. You get me? And it's because I just am finding my way back to who I am as a person. And if you know me, you know that I've always been like a super extroverted, bubbly person. Like, I always want to be in el coro. Like, I'm always like, hey, let's have a barbecue. Hey, let's go do this. Hey, let's go do that. And so now I'm finding myself being able to like, hang out with my girlfriends or take weekend trips and know that it's okay. Like my kids are a little bit older. Like I actually don't have that mom guilt where I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be away from my kids for 3 days. Like they're gonna be okay. They're 5. They know how to, they're potty trained, they're sleep trained, they know how to grab their own snacks. They could basically fend for themselves. you know? So
Yeah.
I think that that is what has changed for me in these 5 years is that I am closer to coming back to myself as I was 5 years ago. And I think that that's important. I think that at the end of the day, all moms like need to understand that while motherhood is the most beautiful thing that we have, it is also okay to be you and to love who you are as a person, like outside of motherhood. And I think that you owe it to your children for them to see who you are as a person, because there are so many times where I look at some of my friends or even some of my family members who are older, aunts, uncles, grandparents, and I'm like, who are you as people? Like who, like what do you like to do? Like, what are your favorite things? Like, what makes you happy? What brings you joy? Like, we just look at our parents or older people in our lives sometimes, and we just know them for like their title. They're my mom,
Hmm.
they're my dad, they're my aunt, they're my uncle, they're my grandma, but we don't know them as people. And so I think it's so important for our kids at the end of the day when they grow up to really love us because we're awesome people and not just because we're their parents. Like I look at my mom and I can like name a bunch of different reasons beside the fact that she's my mom of like why I like her as a person, like as a human being, what about her is something that I like, that I consider as valuable when I am looking at having relationships with people. So I think it's important for our kids to be able to look at us and say, I love my mom because my mom is so cool. Like she loves the same music that I like. My mom went to concerts. She's a great dancer. She and I laugh at the same jokes. I could spend a day at the beach with her and have a great time. Like there's things that our kids need to be able to see in us besides just the fact that we're their mom.
Hmm. I agree 100%. When it comes to me and talking about like how I think I've changed as a woman, I know it sounds crazy. I feel like I'm becoming a woman now. I was not a woman,
Mm,
because even though I was married and I had kids, I was 21. I was 21. I got married. I got pregnant at 21. I had my first baby at 22. And by the time I was 24, I had 2 kids. But I was kind of trapped. I feel like I felt trapped in that age for a long time. Like my
mm,
mind kind of stayed mentally like 21, like when I became a parent. So I feel like now that I've reached 30, now is when I feel like I'm becoming a woman. Like before, I felt like a little girl raising little girls.
mm.
you know? But now I feel confident. I feel secure. I feel like I know who I am. I know what I want. I feel secure in my faith. I feel secure in my relationships. I feel secure in my motherhood. Like you're saying, like it gets to a point where you do have a little bit more like a freedom, and also your kids, you've raised them enough that you see that like they're capable of so many things on their own. And why are they capable? Because you were the one who gave them those capabilities. So then even that adds on to your confidence. Like, yep, I did that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I just posted recently that my kids both tested like amazing, and also, and I know testing is not everything, but I'm like, that's my kids. Yep. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, how I've changed as a woman is that I feel like now I'm becoming a woman. And I think that's different depending on if you have kids, if you don't have kids, how young you have kids, because a lot of people, they've been with their partner for like 10 years and then they have kids. That's, I know for them, like it's a different trajectory. But for me, that's how it was. I literally was a baby having babies. And now I feel like a woman, Now I'm becoming a woman.
Yes, we love that for you. Yeah. I think that that's interesting that you said, like you say, like you kind of stayed trapped in that gap, in that age range or whatever, because you had kids so young. And I think that that does happen to a lot of younger moms. And so I think that that connects to what I was saying, where maybe it takes even more time to get back to yourself when you're like a young mom,
I
um
just feel like I get what you're saying, but I also feel like for me, it's like there's no getting back to myself because I feel like I
mm,
never knew myself.
mm,
Now I'm discovering myself. Now I'm like, this is who Lolo is or Alondra is. You know what I mean?
interesting. Okay,
Because I
yeah.
feel like outside of the fact that, yes, I had kids young, I also have been with my husband since I was 19 years old. Like, who am I outside of Lewis? Who am I
Mm,
outside of being a mom? Like I was a teen. I was a teen
yeah.
when we were together and all these things. So now I'm like, okay, who is Lolo independent of all these things? And like now I feel like, okay, I'm not coming back to myself. I'm making a new. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
I get your position. I think a lot of women will relate to how you're feeling like coming back to yourself. But that's also because I feel like you had a
Knew
little bit more
myself.
self
Yes.
exploration, exactly, and I did not have no self
Interesting.
exploration. Yeah.
Ay. Okay, so let's move on to let's talk about, before we do our fun rapid fire section, let's talk about faith, because I think that's one of the things that in the last 5 years has changed a lot for us. It's our faith, it's our walk with Jesus. I think that that's going to be something that in this season of Las Primas Dicen is going to be a focus, and something that like weaves in and out of all the episodes, because we're just in a different place in our faith now, right? So here's a question. I'm reading them.
Because she's gonna have to edit that out.
Okay. What seasons brought you closer to Jesus? Like what seasons in your life?
This is like all encompassing, like my entire life, or like
No, like in the last 5 years. Like since season one, what are some of the things that you have had to overcome that you think have brought you closer to Christ?
I would say motherhood, my marriage, and my anxiety are the three. Because motherhood, number one, the beauty of life and like creation, and how like we're the closest thing to Jesus essentially, because Jesus is a creator and women are the only ones that really truly create life like that. So that was like number one, that I was like, hold up, hold up, let me get my Bible real quick. But outside of that, just I can't do motherhood alone. I cannot do it alone. I'd be
That
like,
part.
Lord, please, give me the patience, give me the the knowledge, the wisdom to know how to deal with certain situations, like to the composure to not lose it on my kid every 5 seconds. So that's one part. And then marriage, oh, you know, girl, you know. I feel like when it comes to marriage, especially if we're talking about within these last 5 years, like there has been so many times where I felt like I wouldn't say like that I don't like my man because I do like my man, okay? But there's seasons, you know. Everybody goes through. I've been with my man 11 years, you know. There has been seasons where it's like, oh, like I really don't like you right now, you know. And I feel like in
Yes.
those moments and in those seasons where I've had times where I'm like, this man is giving me the ick, I have to pray to the Lord because I always tell the Lord, like, you brought this union together. You gave me this beautiful family. My man is a great man, despite the fact that like he annoys me sometimes or he sometimes is not considerate because we're all like that. I do it too. But there's certain times where I'm like fed up with like him, but it's like at the end of the day, I still know his heart and I know that the Lord gifted me him. So I gotta pray like, Lord, help me. Right now I'm feeling some type of way, but help me to just have peace and to pray over my man because that's another thing that before I used to just be mad, mad, mad and like curse under my breath. And now when I'm upset, I go to the Lord. I'm like, Lord, please. Please help me before I say something that I don't want to say and it's going to become worse and all of that. And thankfully, my man has also gotten closer to Jesus. So that has helped. And then the anxiety, you guys all, well, you know. So I think with the anxiety, it's just like reading my Bible, praying, all those things. Like I feel peace literally from just reading God's word.
Mm,
So that helps me out with the anxiety as well. So those are like my three top things. I would say there's a few other areas, but that's like the main three things.
okay. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, the one thing that brought me closer to Christ was definitely leaving Miami. Um, because as I mentioned before, I think when we were over there, it was very hard to find a church, to find a place of worship, and to like really turn to God first before we turned to our parents, our siblings, our friends. And we just had really no need to go to God first. And when you don't have, when you're not struggling and everything is going perfectly fine, it is more challenging, I feel like, to go to the Lord. But when you are in the thick of it, you feel that feeling of I need to go to the Lord. Like I need to be so centered on the Lord right now. And I just never felt that need in Miami. And me and Fernando were going through trials and tribulations that we were just not overcoming. And I knew that we were not overcoming them because God was not at the center of our marriage. And I knew that God could not be at the center in our marriage if we did not change our environment. And so while the outside things that changed seemed very big, seemed like the biggest thing. For example, us getting a new house and leaving to Central Florida. That probably was a huge like bomb and shift to everyone. Like what Pamela's leaving. But the bigger bomb and shift was the way that God entered into our lives the moment that we decided to leave. Like the moment that we decided to leave our comfort zone of Miami, the moment that we decided to move and completely surrender to Christ and be like, Lord, we're leaving. Like we have no family that's going to be 30 minutes from us to lean on in this time. Like we are only leaning on you, Lord. Like that then started the true dependence in the Lord. Like we were never dependent on the Lord in Miami. We were dependent on other people, on other things, but we were never dependent on the Lord when we were there. But ever since we came out of that, we have been dependent on the Lord. Like we depend on you, Lord. Like my mom does not live 5 minutes away from me for me to pick up the phone and call her when something happens. Lord, I depend on you, you know? And so we needed to just make that shift physically, and that physical that physical shift allowed us to make that spiritual shift as well. And so I think that that has been the biggest season. The moving out of Miami season has been the biggest season that has really brought us closer to Christ.
Yeah, that's good. Honestly, I feel like your faith has also been something that has strengthened my faith. That's how the Lord works. Hey.
Look at God. Yes, that is how the Lord works. That's for another episode. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So we're getting down to the last two sections of our episode. So we're going to do a fun rapid fire section, like a this or that. It's just going to be like choose which one, and then we'll close out. So let's do it. 2026 versions of us. Earlier bedtime or night out?
Earlier.
Wait. Let's go back. Let's see. Is this
But wait, can
realistically
I change it
okay?
though? Can I change it? Because I would do late bedtime, but I'm in. Night in, not out.
Okay. No, you
Like I
can't
want to
change
stay
it.
up all night inside my house.
Okay, but wait. Let's set the rules for a second. Are we answering this like realistically, or what we want for us in 2026?
Oh, I thought you were talking about like right now.
Well, right now, because for example, like I would like to be night out, but honestly, I'm earlier
Earlier
bedtime. So
bedtime.
is this what we want, or is it the reality? How do you want to answer it?
Okay, let's do what we want.
Okay, what we want. Okay. All right. Let's hit it again. 2026 versions of us, what we want. Okay.
Okay.
Earlier bedtime or night out?
I still say earlier bedtime.
Night out. Um, Coffee or energy drink?
Is that I don't drink coffee and I don't drink energy drinks.
Okay, so
So
we
like
know that your
none.
choice is Coca-Cola.
Yeah, Coca-Cola. Can I switch it for a Coke?
Yes, Lolo's a Coke. I am gonna do coffee.
Okay.
All right. Quiet night or girls trip?
Girls trip.
Girls trip.
Girls trip. Where we going? I got my passport.
uh Target or Amazon?
Mm, I would like to say Target because like I love being at Target and like just letting Target tell me what I need to spend my money on. But I'm more of an Amazon girly because I like to just order things to my house. So I'm gonna have to say Amazon.
I'm gonna also say Amazon. Soft life or hustle mode?
Who gonna hustle? Not me. Soft life. Soft life.
In hustle mode, but I would love to be soft life too. All right, Miami forever or never again?
Never again. Never
Never
again.
again.
We're trying to leave. In Jesus'
Okay,
name.
in Jesus' name. Bluey or Coco Melon?
Bluey.
Bluey. Oh,
You
Bluey.
know that for
I
a
just
long
cry all the
time,
time.
my mom was like so confused because she thought Bluey was a boy.
Everybody thinks that. But there's like key Bluey episodes that make me cry.
Yeah, they're
Like
sentimental.
tear jerkers. Okay, last one. Grocery shopping alone, does it equal self-care? Yes or no?
You know what? I feel like for a lot of moms, it feels like self care because we don't get a lot of alone time. But I'm going to say no. I'm going to say you have to have self care outside of a little shopping spree.
Also gonna say no for the same reason. Like if I'm doing groceries, is not the same as if I'm in a spa.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. So as we close out the episode, let's go ahead and do an emotional question. Um, what are you hopeful about now in the next 5 years? Damn, not even the next 5 years. What are you looking forward to in 2026? In the
This
next
year,
6 months this year?
what am I hopeful for? Okay, what I'm looking forward to. I would say I'm looking forward to graduating with my master's. I'm looking forward to potentially moving. I'm looking forward to, continued growth in my marriage and in myself and in my faith. I'm looking forward to finding a church community, like an actual church community, because like I go to church and I know some of the familiar faces and this and that, but I'm not like, I'm not in it. I'm not in it. So finding an actual church community and honestly, just continuing to discover myself. Because like I said, I am in a self-discovery mode. I've never known truly like who I am. So yeah, just learning who I am as a woman and then like how that ties into being a mom and being a wife. But also I'm excited for my kids, like just seeing my kids growing. It's so seeing their personalities, the things they like let's see in 2026, like what's that's gonna look like I'm gonna have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old,
8 already. Oh my gosh.
a 8-year-old and a 6-year-old in 2026. No, 2026, no. Elena, whatever. Elena turned 6 after 2026, but still, I will have an 8-year-old.
Yeah, that's huge. Well, we're waiting for you over here. So whenever you're ready, come. I am looking forward to continuing my health journey as always. I feel like I'm always in some kind of health journey, it never ends. The journey to just be healthier, fitter. I am also excited about doing more things independently that bring me joy, that can also grow into something that could be great, like this podcast. I think that working a 9 to 5 is wonderful. I am blessed to work from home, but I also feel like, as I mentioned at the top of the episode in my intro, I have always been a creative at heart. And I think that I've been inspired by a lot of different creative people and what they're doing with their creativity and what they're putting out into the world, and how they are choosing to prioritize their creativity and how their creativity has made them successful. So I feel like, in coming back to myself, that's one of the things that I want to focus on, is how my art and my creativity can be at the forefront of who I am, especially when we talk about what I do and my career and like just kind of what I do, right? I don't want to just be like, yeah, I'm a corporate trainer. I want to be like, I am an author. I am a podcaster, like with a bunch of different women that giving them a platform to like speak on whatever it is. You get me? So yeah, I just want to focus on those things in the next 6 months. My creativity, my health, and my family, my husband, and our kids.
Honestly, I forgot to add a job there because I'm doing a whole career shift. So
Yes.
I would, Lord, please,
Lord,
a
give
job,
her.
a remote
Yes.
or hybrid. Thank you.
She needs it, Lord, so she can come here. All right. We are closing out with, what do you hope people feel when they listen to Las Primas Dicen this season?
Honestly, I hope people just feel nice, warm, cozy, like they're listening to their primas talking, chit chatting, being chimosas. We could be chimosas. You guys, you could ask us whatever y'all want to ask us. Me and Pam, we ain't got no filter. So I hope it's just like something that you can relax, not stress. Like Pam said earlier at the top of the episode, like if you're cleaning, if you're in the car, if you're whatever, something you can put on that's just like to give you added comfort. Listen to us talking crap.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way. I feel like this podcast is a place where, first and foremost, you and I can come together and talk as we always have done, but it always does feel nice like having a scheduled time. Like, Lolo, we gotta do the podcast, so we gotta talk, you know? We have to have like our hour-long conversation. So I always look forward to continuing to have our conversations, but also inviting all of our other primas who are listening to just feel seen with us and hear from us. There's a lot of times where you see a picture that we post on Instagram or Facebook, but you don't know what your prima's going through for real, for real. You know, you don't know about your prima's life for real, for real. A lot of our literal friends and family don't know that I've moved, or don't know that you started your master's program, don't know that you're going to be a mom of an 8-year-old, you know? So I want our primas to just listen to us while they're doing, like I said, their chores, or like dropping their kids off at daycare or whatever it is, and just feel like you're in the room with us. Like, we're just catching up with you because we love you, because we want you to know where we're at in our life. And another big part of season 2 is just more voices, I think, from our primas, whether they are blood primas or not, just different voices that aren't like the big influencer voices or like the big YouTube people, like just the regular schmegular girls, the regular schmegular girls, the authenticity, mommy, okay?
And relatability. Authenticity and relatability.
The authenticity and the relatability, I am here for that. And in a world of artificial intelligence, and in a world of curated everything, I just want las primas to listen to this podcast and be like, and laugh with us and be like, oh my gosh, that was so relatable. Like, yes, I totally get it, I understand it, you know, and just know that like we're just having real conversations and we want you to be part of them. All right, primas. I think that this is the end of our episode. Lolo, remind me, how did we end season 1? You remember? We had like a little thing, wasn't it? Con muchísimo amor, las primas.
Las primas. Is that what we said? I don't remember.
I think it is. I have to go back and hear it.
Damn, should I play the little part? Because
you should.
I'll be listening to us on Spotify. Like, yes. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Let me see. Let me see what we were saying real quick.
We gotta run back. We gotta run it back. The ending.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm about to play this episode now.
Hi, you're listening to Starting List for once. See. Like this, just like, even though encourage the people person in whichever way they need you to be there. That's good. I like that. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening, primas. We love you all. We appreciate you. And that's a wrap for this episode. So, con muchísimo amor. Las primas. Besos.
That's it? That's what it was?
All right.
Con muchísimo amor, las primas.
Okay, so I'm going to give them, I'm going to give them the little bye-bye, and then you're going to say what that. Okay. We're back on. All right, primas. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 1 of season 2. We're so excited to be back chit-chatting. We love y'all, and I will see you all on the next episode.
Con muchísimo amor, las primas. Besos.